Thank you so much for having a little chat. So, the biggest question for Irish F1 lovers is the whole thing around Alex Dunne at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there was the news this year with Eddie Jordan a few weeks ago, and it kind of made us all very reminiscent of like seeing the Irish flag flying in Formula One. How good a chance do you think he has?
He's got as good a chance as anybody in Formula 2, really. He's already a race winner. I think he's currently fourth in the standings. And he's, part of the McLaren driver program now, and what a place to be being mentored through now, and what a team to be mentoring him through. So I think he's got a really good chance. Wouldn't it be fantastic? It'd be fantastic to see an Irish driver, back in the sport. So yeah,
amazing. And big question around track limits at the moment, and kind of drivers potentially gaming the system as well there. What do we do? How do we fix that?
Gravel, bigger curbs, just, I suppose, deterrence. I mean, the thing is, right, they know there are certain places on certain tracks that are more prone to these track limit violations than others. So I was quite surprised at the first turn they hadn't put a big curb in there in Saudi Arabia, because it's so easy to do what Max did there. So I think there's a number of ways that you can look at it, but I think it's got to start with deterrence like that, whatever they might be.
Okay. And then finally, can you give me what are your top 3 races you've ever worked on?
Worked on?
Yeah. Oh, actually, no. We can no. You can go of all time, actually, in general.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Let's just make it more general.
No, I mean, if I give you, do you know what? They all these days blur into one for me, because you're going from one to the next to the next. I mean, if I look back at it, obviously we've just been talking about it, but the one that springs to mind immediately is Abu Dhabi 2021, because of everything that happened there. It was just an incredible, gutting for Lewis. Obviously, he was robbed, but I don't believe there was anything conspiratorial about it. I believe that it was a refereeing error that Michael Massey made, but having to deal with that and cope with all the aftermath of that was very challenging from a broadcaster's perspective. First one I ever did in 2012 in Australia. I'll never forget that, because the sweat was literally running down my back. And you know what? You pick out. I love it when an underdog wins. For example, I'll always remember when Esteban Ocon won. I'll always remember when Pierre Gasly won. Daniel Ricciardo in McLaren. I enjoyed Lando though, because in Miami last year I did a lie detector before with him about 3 or 4 months before, and I said, "Are you going to win a race this year?" And he said, "Yes." The lie detector said he wasn't lying, and we ran it in the build-up to the Miami race, and he won it. Wow. So it was quite a nice little serendipitous moment. Yeah.
I think I have another couple of minutes. So, speaking of Lando, I mean, obviously there's a lot of talk now. Is he been put under a lot of pressure by Oscar? Can he do it this year?
Yes, but he's got to sort his head out. He's talking himself down at the moment. Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen are mentally, it would seem, bulletproof. Although we'll be able to see that with Oscar at some point, whether he's going to be further tested up top. But I think, if he can get his head right, he's got the speed. I'm backing him to come back and win it. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Good lad.
Well, we'd love to see him do it. So thank you so much. Thanks a million.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, great.